The movie is about a young man seeking revenge against the corrupt forces that destroyed his village and killed his mother. The movie begins with Hanuman, a powerful deity in Hindu mythology, unleashed by the gods as a form of punishment. In Monkey Man, a small youngster discovers the essence of Hanuman's strength inside himself, as his mother had told him when he was a toddler, and he uses this power to seek revenge for her unjust murder. Kid watches the news and is sitting at a cheap restaurant when a boy named Lucky asks him for money in exchange for the required information. After ordering the juice and paying money, he hears the boy telling him about a woman named Queenie who owns an expensive restaurant and is a very bold lady. The scenario changes when Queenie, the same woman, declines to offer a beggar alms, and he unintentionally tosses her a glass of water. The beggar grabs her money after successfully bringing her attention to the swindle. He passes the wallet across several hands before Kid finds it and looks through it for any important information. The wallet card points him in the direction of the well-known eatery, where Kid must wait outside for a considerable amount of time to get admitted. Kid is finally taken to Queenie by a guy. Kid gives back Queenie's money, claiming he got it after a fight with two beggars, and asks to work at her restaurant in exchange. He adamantly refuses any monetary compensation, expressing willingness to perform any task for as long as necessary to prove his toughness. Playing with Queenie, the child shows her his charred hands while staring at a picture of Policeman R, the man who killed his mother. Kid is plagued by flashbacks of the night his mother died. As she offers to hire him as a cleaner, Queenie's voice brings him down to earth. The next day, as Kid starts work, he runs into Alfonso at the restaurant. Assisting Kid, Alfonso provides different herbs to his wealthy clients. Shortly after, Kid goes to a pan shop and orders a unique pan that doubles as a covert signal. Sent by a youngster to lead Kid to a nearby house inside, the shopkeeper recognizes Kid's situation. Unlicensed guns are dealt with by the resident. When the Kid leaves, he chooses a rifle that will work for his objective. During his work hours the next day, he watches Queenie humiliating a young girl, CA, for complaining about the brutal clients. Queenie blames her for being overdramatic and calls Kid inside. As she brings females, she orders Kid to put his face toward the wall and offers Alfonso a large sum of money to prepare drugs for customers. Kid pursues Alfonso as he walks away, offering to be buddies. They will profit greatly in this way. He informs him about his fight club and challenges him to a wager on his downfall as evidence. That way, he'll prevail. In the ensuing battle in the club, Alfonso wagers on his defeat and earns some cash. The patron selects the females to be escorted from a menu card that the restaurant displays. Youngster focuses on a man taking a young girl into his room. Afterward, Alfonso offers to give him a ride in his fancy vehicle, which turns out to be a super-fast auto rickshaw. They drive through the whole city in the middle of the night. Kid notices Sita sitting with a client whose conduct becomes wrong the next day as she is pouring drinks in the same hall. Memories of the night Kid's mother died come flooding back. Their town was on fire because the people refused to leave despite being told to do so as riots had taken over their community. Kid leaves the hall quickly, unable to stand the situation that is developing with Sita. With a stray dog at his side, he almost runs outside and takes refuge in the open space behind the restaurant through the back door. Kid is shocked when CA joins them after giving the dog a piece from crumbs. She thinks he should quit his work if he can't manage circumstances like these after observing his anxiety in the hallway. Though he responds to her, Kid is drawn to the quail bird tattoo on CA's arm, a symbol representing her desire to sing beautiful melodies. In the coming days, he practices with the gun to perfect his target. In addition, he trains his dog to walk with the pistol and deliver it to him via the rear entrance. He keeps fighting and working in restaurants at the same time until he perfects his target and is prepared for an assault. He and Alfonso bring refreshments to the hall on the last day. For the first time, he gains access to the designated region, where he intends to kill his target shortly. Glancing around, he sees Seda and Policeman RA seated. Kid subtly incorporates bath acid with RA's medication. He applies the powder to SA's calf and gives it a sniff, but as soon as the powder gets in his nose, it begins to bleed. He runs to the restroom to cleanse his nose since he is so frightened. Suddenly, Kid points his gun at him, reminding him that he murdered his mom. But unfortunately, R.A. notices his hands trembling and kicks his hand. The weapon falls away. Enraged, R.A. strikes Kid and stabs him in the leg. Kid gets the knife and drives it deep into R.A.'s back despite the agony. Then he runs away, making his way through the restaurant to the parking lot, where a group of people, including Alfonso, are waiting. Kid gets into a rickshaw and tells Alfonso to follow him. They take off quickly, dodging police cars and a helicopter that is following them. They eventually stop the rickshaw and run away on foot, but the cops are after them non-stop. After Kid is ultimately captured, Alfonso feels guilty for abandoning Kid. When Kid wakes up in a police vehicle, he is shackled and surrounded by cops. Without hesitation, he attacks the police, seizing a gun and injuring them to escape. Kid makes a daring move, seeking refuge in a brothel as police scour the area like ferocious animals. Kid bursts out of the brothel and goes back to his crazy rampage through the city, even jumping over rooftops. Unexpectedly, Kid falls into the lake below as a shooter in the chopper aims and shoots. A squad of eunuchs commanded by Alpha are tending to Kid's gunshot wounds when he awakens in a strange place. They beg Kid to stay and get ready for retaliation when he gets stronger. However, Kid decides to hide as he knows the cops are after him. On the other hand, Shakti Baba's number of followers has increased daily. He is gaining popularity with each passing day. R.A. comes to visit him to search for and kill his attacker, but Shakti asks him to ignore that and focus on the upcoming elections. Meanwhile, Kid witnesses eunuchs enjoying themselves. Uzed Shakir is playing tabla as they sit around the fire and laugh. The deeper the night, the less Kid is able to laugh at their jokes or enjoy their company. At last, he stands up and takes a solitary seat. Joining him, Alpha brings Kid to their sacred tree while seeing his suffering. In the evening, it is lit by a multitude of lighting. Kid is experiencing retaliation, and Alpha can feel it. He explains to him how his anguish and fury are what motivate him to seek revenge. When he exacts his retribution, he promises that his suffering will end. He then takes a bloom from the holy tree and uses his hand to manufacture flower powder. The powder will help him remember his anger. He throws the powder with a blow on Kid's face, and suddenly Kid recalls that in his childhood he saw his village burning. He was in excruciating pain. The whole hamlet was enthralled with a puppet play telling the stories of Hanuman and Sita on that tragic day. They had no idea that the unexpected appearance of the police, sent by the notorious Shakti Baba who wished to disturb their peace, led by a man named R.A. The police began a ruthless operation. R.A. stormed into their house and attacked Kid's mother in a matter of seconds. She bravely defended herself by using a concealed dagger against R.A., who then did a terrible thing to her. Through a tiny hole in the roof, the child saw the horror unfold and hurried to save his mother, only to get burned in the process. Alpha saw Kid's wounds as the hamlet caught fire and urged him to use them as a source of strength and a sign of his resistance against the tyrannical system. However, Shakti Baba practiced yoga in a calm manner at home. Once mostly healed, the child began getting ready for revenge. He punched the punching bag and hesitated to continue the practice when Master Shakir detected his hesitation and played the tabla to create a rhythm. Toa's voice kept him going for a while. The other eunuchs clapped as he punched the bag, and it got faster with time. Kid, on the other hand, gave himself the best training possible. He found solace in the beat's rhythm, and eventually Master Shakir stopped playing the tabla, but Kid never grew weary of it. They were now aware that Kid was prepared for the major battle. Alpha got a notification from the government that day to either leave their home or make the required payment. They had nowhere else to go, and the amount was so large that they couldn't afford to pay it. Kid heard them and decided to help in his way. He prayed and stole the money in the money box. Meanwhile, Alfonso, after a lengthy absence, gazed at posters on the wall promoting a showdown between Monkey Man and Cobra at the Fight Club. Nearby, a young boy named Lucky handed money to a man placing bets on Monkey Man's victory. A sizable audience gathered around the ring on the day of the bout, and Tiger boldly predicted that Monkey Man would lose. From the onlookers who were betting against Monkey Man, he received a large money. Surprisingly, Monkey Man beat Cobra with a single kick as the fight started. Instead of the typical drawn-out fights, Tiger insisted on setting up another challenger to extend the action, but Cobra did not move when attempts were made to restart the fight. To take on Monkey Man, Tiger enlisted a fresh warrior, but this opponent also gave up after taking a few blows. The crowd went wild with applause for Monkey Man, comparing his abilities to Hanuman's. Alfonso watched proudly as his friend triumphed. Lucky received a handsome reward for Kid's victory, placing the entire sum in a bag and hanging it on a statue. Inside the bag, the eunuchs discovered a note urging them to remember their roots. Every country in the world observed Holi in a unique fashion on its major day. The Monkey Man also selected this day to exact his ultimate retribution. That evening, in front of a sizable gathering, Shakti Baba was welcomed at the hotel. For her visitors, however, Queenie demanded perfection. While Shakti sat in the main hall, R.A. was assigned to security duties. Youngster went into the hotel and disabled the guards in the corridor. Afterwards, a number of eunuchs with masks came into the car lot. Kid broke through into the kitchen at the same moment, using colanders and knives to beat any male who dared oppose. He then lit everything on fire and continued on. He confronted several security men in the elevator with his immense power and strategy. A few lights in the hallway went out, and everyone in the hall felt threatened. The elevator door opened and a body tumbled out. Kid defeated everyone who stood in his way by lighting little firecrackers behind the man and tossing them into the throng. The elevator doors opened unexpectedly as the others left the hall, showing Kid surrounded by armed security guards. Kid was thinking about what to do as Alpha and a few other eunuch members rushed into the hallway. Kid regained strength as they relentlessly fought and defeated several adversaries. Amid the chaos, Alpha urged Kid to stop wasting time and pursue their main target. R.A., discovering that Queenie was pointing a gun at him, saw Sita use a tray to attack Queenie, causing her to stumble. Kid quickly cut off Queenie's thumb to enter the secret room where her fingerprints were needed. R.A. misjudged Kid's determination and struck back with power, but Kid held her severed thumb and looked for R.A. Before his rage strengthened his resolve, Kid took the first few hits. Kid, furious by Ra's treatment of his mother. When R.A. could take it no more, Kid beat him till he died. To preserve their own lives, the hotel guards chose to hide rather than come to Ra's aid. Kid thought about his burning house again, how he used to cry in front of it as a child. He was aware that these violence and hatred were supported by Shakti Baba. He took the elevator to search for the prime culprit of the crimes and reached where Shakti Baba was already waiting for him. Kid wanted to know if Shakti knew who he was and why he killed his mother. Shakti showed Kid his slippers as a sign of his disinterest in these issues. He wished to come across as an uncomplicated man. Kid's focus briefly strayed as he heard the sound of a chopper approaching. Shakti attacked Kid, seizing the opportunity. Kid killed Shakti with his hidden nails before Shakti could strike again, feeling like the mighty Hanuman from the Ramayana. At last, he found peace, imagining himself and his mother walking the hills and singing a beautiful melody at the end. Subscribe and hit the bell for more awesome videos. Thanks for watching.